Assalamualaikum and very good evening. My name is Izul Hanis Furqan bin Anuraza, matric number KH24013, and today I will be presenting about banking and financial investment. So the first one is, what is banking? Banking is a service-based industry that acts as the middleman in the economy. Its primary job is to provide a safe place for people to store money and reliable source for others to borrow it. Next is, what is financial institution? Financial institution is facilitate financial that carrying a broad range of financial activities, including giving loans, accepting deposit, facilitating investment, and many more. There are 12 types of financial institution. So the first one, for the number one, is investment bank. Number two is retail and commercial bank. 3 is brokerage. 4 is investment companies. Number 5 is insurance companies. Number 6 is central bank. 7 is internet bank. 8 is credit union. 9 is saving and loan association. 10 is mortgage companies. 11 is advisory firms, and the last one is trust companies.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Kaidah Takifah binti Muhammad Yusli. My matric number is KH24020, and I will explaining categories of financial institutions. There are 3, which is banking institution, specialized financial entities, and investment and insurance entities. For banking institution, there are central bank. It is to manage a country monetary policy and oversees all other banks. For retail and commercial banks, it is to accept deposit from the public, offer loans, and connect citizens with the banking system. For investment banks, it is to help companies go public by managing initial public offerings, which is IPOs, and underwriting debt, though they do not accept deposit. For internet banks, provide the same service as retail banks, but it is operate virtually. Lastly, credit unions. It is to extend financial and banking services to specific sections or groups. Next, the point for specialized financial entities is mortgage company. It is primarily function to originate and fund mortgage loans. Next, saving and loan association. It is to provide service for making deposit and taking loans. Lastly, trust companies. It is act as agents on behalf of individuals or businesses. Last point, investment and insurance entities. The point for this investment and insurance entities is investment companies. Pool resources from investors to create diversified portfolios based on risk appetite. Next, insurance companies. It is to collect premiums to provide protection against unforeseen future events for individuals and business. For brokerage firms, it is act as intermediaries between buyers and sellers, charging commissions for service like portfolio management. Lastly, for this point, it is advisory firms. It is to assist individuals and business in making better financial decisions. This is the key difference between banks and NBFCs. The source of difference is service types, regulations, deposit, and settlement. For banks, it's related to guarantees, loan, credit card, and checks. For NBFCs, it is related to plans, stocks, investments, and mutual funds. For regulation for banks, legally licensed and processed by the government. Meanwhile, for NBFCs, it is generally not authorized but are licensed financial institutions. Deposit for banks, it is accept deposit from consumers, while for NBFC, it is responsible for securing deposit for future process. Settlement for banks involved in payment and settlement cycles, while for NBFCs, it is not involved in payment and settlement acts.
Hi, I'm Sika, and we continue on the presentation about bank institution. Looking at the structure of central bank, its responsibility can be broken down into 7 key areas: monetary management and currency regulation. First and foremost, The central bank is the sole authority for issuing currency. It manages monetary policy to ensure price stability and controls the supply of money in the economy. Banker to the government, it serves as the official financial agent for the government, managing its accounts, public debt, and financial transactions. Custodian of reserves, the bank acts as the guardian of the nation's wealth, holding both the cash reserves of commercial banks and the country's international foreign exchange reserves. Lender of last resort, this is a vital safety net function. In times of financial crisis or liquidity shortage, the central bank provides emergency funds to commercial banks to prevent the system from collapsing. Clearinghouse and settlement, it facilitates the smooth transfer of funds between different banks, ensuring that checks and electronic transfer are settled accurately and efficiently. Controller of credit, by adjusting interest rates and reserve requirements, the central bank influences how much money banks can lend, which helps control inflation and stimulate or cool down the economy. Protection of depositors, finally, it plays a regulatory role in supervising financial institutions to ensure they are healthy, ultimately protecting in the interest of the general public who keep their money in banks. To summarize, the central bank is not just a financial institution, it is the backbone of economic stability. By balancing its roles as a regulator, a government partner, and a protector of the public interest, it ensures that the financial gears of the country continue to turn smoothly. Without this central function, our modern monetary system would lack the oversight needed to survive economic volatility.
Bismillah. Assalamualaikum, I'm Muhammad Syamil Aizat and I will be continuing the presentation to talk about NBFIs. What is NBFIs? NBFI stands for non-banking financial institution that provide banking-like services such as lending, insurance, and investments, but they do not fully hold a full banking license, and they also cannot accept traditional demand deposits such as checking, savings accounts from the general public. So let's look on the key categories and functions of NBFIs. So we have insurance companies that protect individuals and businesses from financial loss, such as risk poolings in exchange for premiums. And then we have investments and unit trusts, which pools money from many investors to buy stocks, bonds, or real estate, allowing small investors to access to diversified portfolios. And then we have leasing companies which provide financing for assets, and you use the equipment while the leasing firm retains ownership until the contract ends. We also have cooperative, which is credit unions, member-owned organizations that provide affordable credit and saving schemes to specific communities or professional groups. And lastly, we have microfinance institutions that provide small loans to entrepreneurs or low-income individuals who lack access to traditional banking. So then why do they matter? Because they reach in any unbanked sectors like small farmers or startups, and they also act as a market competition for banks because they challenge the traditional banks, that often leading to a better interest rates for the users or more specialized services. And to summarize, non-banking financial institutions are the specialized engines of our financial ecosystem. While they don't take deposits like your local bank, they also fill critical gaps by managing risk through insurance, facilitating wealth creation through unit trusts, and supporting industrial growth through leasing. That's all from us. Thank you.